Today, I'm going to be talking to you about everything that I'm expecting us to see in Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 231. As we all know, Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 230 was one of the best chapters that we have ever gotten. Gege Akutami was absolutely cooking with that last chapter. And because of that, this video is actually one of the ones that I'm most excited for. It's been a while since I was this excited to do a video for a, theory on the next chapter. To be honest, after seeing what Sukuna did, or I guess didn't do with Maharaga, there are so many different directions that this next chapter can go in. And while as of right now we don't know very much about what's going to be going on in this chapter, we do know one thing for certain, and that's going to be that domain expansions are off the table. We see this because Gojo has used reverse curse technique, if I'm not mistaken, 5 times during this fight. So the curse technique part of his brain has been like etched and re-etched like over and over. Essentially he's like goop in his head right now. He's just got like brain rot in essence going on right now. And then Sukuna, while not using reverse curse technique as much, when he did utilize it, he was hit by one of Gojo's infinite void attacks, and because of that, we see that he is also now unable to summon domains. So that means no more domains for the rest of the fight, or at least for the rest of the time that it's just Gojo versus Sukuna. We'll get into that in a little bit, but that is something that we can definitely say for sure at this point. Now, where does that leave us? It leaves us with Gojo versus Sukuna pretty much in hand-to-hand combat. Now, hand-to-hand combat isn't obviously just pure hand-to-hand combat. They can both use their curse techniques, although they, again, are really burnt out right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them both turn into like Rock Lee or something and just start scrapping. Essentially, we're gonna have like a Madara versus Might Guy moment. That's kind of my thoughts of what could happen during this chapter. With that being said, though, there's some things that definitely are going to be explored this chapter, I think, that are going to be looked at, that are not going to be a Madara versus Might Guy situation. It's going to be a situation that's going to allow Gojo and Sukuna to sort of rev themselves back up and be able to like carry on the fight in the way that we know that they can. And I think the person that's going to be able to do that is got to be Kenjaku. Kenjaku's been sitting on the sidelines for so long at this point, and it's just like we're just waiting for the dude to show up. He's like the boogeyman. Like, something's gonna happen. I keep saying this, I say this in like every video, but whether or not it's this chapter or in 10 chapters and the fight's still going on, he's gonna show up. Like, it's gotta happen. I don't know what else to say about that at this point, but I feel like Kenjaku could have some sort of trump card that would allow Sukuna to potentially regain his sort of like abilities or curse technique uses or utilizations that would allow him to use a domain battle and then kill Gojo like he was planning on doing in the last chapter, as we did see that he tried to enclose his domain on Gojo, which was kind of crazy to see that he could essentially switch his domain that's always been open to be a closed domain. That would be, that's exceptionally interesting. Now at that point, what is going to happen with Gojo? Well, before Kenjaku actually gets to the battlefield or gets to where they're fighting, I feel like Yuji, Kashimo, like everyone that's watching is going to get involved for one reason or another. Again, there's no reason that these sides should be sitting on the sidelines like this. I definitely get that they're the two strongest, they're facing off against each other, but Kenjaku just being in the background, being lurking, is definitely interesting. It's exceptionally scary as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Along with that, I did watch a theory video this morning. It was an iceberg video about Jujutsu Kaisen theories, and it kind of got me thinking about Nobara Kugisaki and her condition, what's going on with her. And the video actually went into depth about how petty Nobara is, and as we know, in the verse, she's pretty much the most petty person. They essentially were saying that Nobara could be off screen training the entire time. Shoko healed her maybe, and she's just not like letting Yuji and Megumi and everyone else know that she's alive out of the pettiness from when Yuji didn't let her know that he was alive back after he got killed by Sukuna, after Sukuna ripped his heart out in chapter like 30 or whatever that was. So I mean, that introduces an entire another sort of theory into this game at this point that's going on. I definitely see Nobara like getting involved and coming back. There's no reason that Akutami would just like leave her character up in the air and just like end things like that. He definitely has bigger plans for her. What those are, I'm not quite sure. I feel like she would be a great sort of, not foil for Sukuna, but essentially like a good person to take him on, especially since they do have that last finger of his at Jujutsu High. I don't know, we could definitely see something with Nobara. There's a lot of different things we could see at this point. For the next chapter though, in all honesty, again, a Madara versus Might Guy type of moment where they just start scrapping, throwing hands, going crazy at each other. Would love to see that. Would love to see Sukuna kind of use that fire technique that we saw him use against Jogo. We know that he's got something like else in store. We're not entirely sure what that is. I did see a theory video that talked about how the tattoos were actually like different people's souls that he'd eaten, and the thing is, like, when he eats people, he's able to gain their curse techniques, which would make sense as to why he was a cannibal back in the day. Like, that would make a ton of sense. Along with that, we haven't seen his like true form, where he's got the forearms and he's got like the like super crazy messed up face. Like, it feels that Sukuna is not holding back necessarily, but he's not showing showing everything that he has to show. And maybe that's something with Kenjaku, maybe something's going on with Utahime or something like that. I have no idea at this point, honestly. There's so much up in the air right now. This next chapter is going to be absolutely nuts though, so make sure you guys go read it. Miyamura is the guy that does it on Twitter. Go find him, go follow him. He's private now, but if you request to follow, you can definitely read it as it comes out on Tuesday night, I guess. But yeah, Sukuna feels that there's something that Akutami's just waiting for Sukuna. And I feel like it's kind of like if Sukuna pulls out his trump card first, Gojo wins. If Gojo pulls out like another trump card or uses his if he gains a maximum ability and then pulls that out first, then I fear that Gojo will lose. But I mean, there's so many different directions that this chapter could go in. I'm so excited for it. But yeah, predictions are that it's just going to be an all-out brawl. Definitely some more of an exposition dump for sure. Got to see what Kenny's up to. You know, Kenjaku's always plotting. There's a reason he's been alive for as long as he has. So keep that in mind for sure when it comes out, guys, when you're reading it. I don't know who's going to win this fight at this point. It's just been going back and forth. I thought Gojo was done for last time, but looks like he's doing well again. Kind of. I'm not sure. Again, just read it when it comes out on Tuesday, guys. All right, there's the video. There's my theories. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.